back.
Back on another episode of Burning Time.
Yes.
Another wild adventure.
Time to burn some time.
Time again.
That time. So, I know you have something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Idaho murder. I feel like it's crazy. Like, they came up with the affidavit of the the events and what happened, and why they ruled him out. It's crazy. And then they talked about how the one roommate saw him, and she's getting a lot of grief because she stayed in her, she saw him walking out, and she saw him with the mask on and stuff, but she went back in her room and she didn't come back for 8 hours. It wasn't until noon that she came out and they investigated stuff.
I mean, how can they blame her?
Yeah,
Well,
I was gonna say,
exactly.
how old was she?
Probably, I don't even know. They have to be
They're college,
under 22.
They're college students.
They're like
college,
20.
so early 20s.
Yeah, they're like 20.
Yeah,
So it makes me feel like I'm not surprised, because think about when you're younger, there's just, I don't know, you're in a different spot. Especially.
Did she call 911 at that point?
No, she didn't do anything. She didn't know. They didn't even know her roommates were dead. So she didn't even know until 8 hours later she came out of her room and then went, and that's why it was so suspicious for the longest time. I don't know. I thought the roommates did it because it just seems so weird.
It's kind of weird. It's like, why, if you saw somebody, dressed in black that you didn't recognize in your house, and it was enough to scare you back into your room, you're just going to sit there and huddle and not call 911?
Well, and you had to hear crying or screams or something.
I thought I read something about that there was something about the two heard that, and that's what made them open their door.
That's what I heard too. They had the crying.
Yeah, and then she saw the person
Right.
and went back and hid.
For 8 hours.
For 8 hours.
I mean, I can only imagine how scared she was.
Yeah, but she didn't even call 911.
That's where I'm talking about. It's like, why would you not at least call 911 or call somebody
Got clammed up.
for 8 hours?
I mean, people have head problems,
Yeah.
And what's crazy is she didn't call 911. She went to go investigate what happened.
Oh, so she just went to go look and just
Yeah, and found her dead roommates. What, 4 of them, right? There were 6 of them in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6
So
altogether.
4 of them that died.
4 of them got killed.
Yeah.
And something about they found a sheath to a knife on the bed of one of the...
Well, that's how they tied this dude to the murder.
Because
Yeah,
the
'cause-
DNA.
Yeah, because
Well,
the DNA.
The
Yeah.
DNA went back to his dad or something like that.
Well, I guess they had DNA from the dad, and they had this DNA, and they said that whoever, I think he was the father of whoever.
They tied it with
had
the
that
father.
sheet.
Yeah. They narrowed down. They tied the DNA to the father, and then they figured out who was in that age group, who lives in the area, who this, who that, and then they figured out who it was, and then he had a white car, like the white car that they were looking for. That
And
they
he actually got pulled over after
Several times.
Yeah, after the murder and
yeah,
before he
it was
got
like 2 or
hemmed
3
up.
times they got pulled over. Him and his dad were taking a trip back to Pennsylvania
Yeah.
to go back to the house they owned over there. Let's see here. Doo-doo.
That's freaking crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's nuts.
So yeah, here we go. So let's see here. So at 4:12 a.m., the affidavit says that Kernodle, whichever one that is, was on her phone because records show she was on TikTok. The roommate said she looked out of her bedroom but didn't see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Document said she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. The roommate then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," according to the documents. The roommate said she opened her door again, so I guess this would be the 3rd time, when she heard the crying, and she saw a man in black clothes and a mask. Now, this is the other part that kind of gets me. Okay, so she saw a man in black clothes and a mask walking past her. She stood frozen in shock, according to the court document. Frozen and in shock. The roommate said she didn't recognize the man who who she said walked towards the house's sliding glass door. She described him as 5'10" or taller, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows.
But the bushy eyebrows is what got them to pick him.
But he was wearing a mask.
Yeah, but his like it was like cut. She could see the eyebrows.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
probably like one of those snowboarding masks where it's just one open hole or
Yeah,
something.
and he has bushy eyebrows.
Maybe like a ski mask or something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
because they
give you
said
that.
that. Yeah.
I'll give you that. But let's see here. About 4:17 a.m., a security camera less than 50 feet from Kernodle's room picked up sounds of a barking dog and distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud, according to the documents. On the morning of November 13th, the two roommates called friends over to their house because they thought one of the victims on the second floor had passed out and wasn't waking up. How do you inspect somebody and see that they're obviously not moving and they've been stabbed several times?
Well, that's the thing. They've been stabbed. There's blood.
Wouldn't there be blood everywhere?
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I feel like the roommates still.
They're looking a little suspect here.
They have been this whole time.
I almost think they were in on it.
I think so too. But how are they passing? You know, they had to do a lie detector test. Like, there's no way.
Unless the cops were playing dumb just to maybe get them to dig themselves a deeper hole, and really nail them
maybe.
down. But, man, that just, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of shit in there that doesn't seem to add up. It seems like those two that survived.
Yeah, and why did they
Maybe.
survive? Why did that guy walk past
That's what I'm
her
saying. Enough to
and
where
not
she
kill
could
her?
see him.
and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm not going to kill you." Like,
Yeah, well, you know, I was watching a guy on YouTube, and he pulled up another guy that does profiling, and he brought up a case where this guy killed this little boy, and he did it with a knife, and there's some kind of chemical reaction for some of these people where the thrill of pulling the knife out of the sheath gets them going into like a tunnel vision almost, and they get so excited and aroused over stabbing this whoever they're stabbing that their tunnel vision doesn't allow them to see outside of that bubble.
that's crazy.
And so what they were saying is the guy could have been so hyped up after killing the 4 people, and on his way out, he's gloating on the way out, and he's got tunnel vision just going to the door, so he might not have even have seen her open the door. You know,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't,
That's a good
I
way
don't
of looking
know.
at it.
I mean,
Yeah.
But that's what the
I
forensic
could-
guy was saying, or the profiler was saying, that this is kind of what happens to these people's brains when they get in that mode, and I just couldn't imagine that. Like,
That would seem feasible, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I could say it was feasible or not. You know, I don't have that mentality. You know, like I got a feeling if I was a murderer, I'd just everybody in the fucking house is going. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No witnesses left
but
behind.
I'm not that type of person, so I don't know exactly what would go through somebody's head like that. You know, because you also might be the person that stabs somebody and goes, oh fuck, I fucked up, turn around, run. You know, like
Yeah.
And they still haven't developed a full out motive, right?
No. They don't know. They just knew who they were looking for. They knew like pretty quickly who they were looking for.
I saw something about either him or maybe it was his lawyer, unless I misread it. But they were talking about they were looking forward to the trial and for him to be quickly exonerated for the charges.
It's so like arrogant.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, wow, that's almost like that other dude. I can
Yeah.
never remember his damn name, which, I mean, he probably doesn't deserve to be
Daryl
remembered.
Brooks.
Yeah, Daryl Brooks.
Yeah. The only reason why I remember Daryl is because of Daryl Hamlin, the NFL player. That's what else I want to talk
Which one
about.
was that?
The one that just passed out, remember?
Oh yeah.
That shit was wild.
Yeah.
And did we mention Ken Block?
No, we haven't mentioned. There's a lot we haven't talked about. This happened this
God,
week.
man.
Yeah.
We need a refund on 2023. It's like starting off pretty damn
It
shitty.
is. Anyways, let's finish. On
Yeah.
the first subject here.
I mean,
Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I'm interested to see how this all transpires.
Yeah, and I've heard something about that he was okay with everything that's going down because he didn't do it and he knows he's going to get out of it. And it's like from everything that I've seen, everything that the way the police have taken care of everything, the only thing they haven't found is the murder weapon and a motive.
What if the two roommates framed that dude?
I mean, it could be because what's weird is
That'd make for a really good movie.
I was listening.
Right?
Seriously.
I was listening to another YouTube deal on it, and they were saying, like how did he get in the house? And what they were saying.
They said he was leaving towards the sliding glass door, so I would almost imagine that would be the way he came in.
He was leaving out the sliding glass door.
Wouldn't it make sense though that he knows that's an open door? So,
Oh yeah, because you've been watching them for.
well,
longest
like the profile.
well, I'm just saying as far as coming in.
Oh yeah.
You're probably gonna leave the same way you came in because you know that that's an actual accessible.
Well,
in and out
they
point,
know
so.
he went through the front door.
Oh, okay. Well, how did he get in the front door?
Well, and that's the question. And what they were saying is it could have been like one of the roommates could have ordered DoorDash or something like
then
that.
they talked about they did do a
if
bunch
for-
of DoorDash
if
orders.
forgot
Well,
to
they
lock
had.
the
Well,
door
the thing
behind
is,
them.
they had a party earlier that night too. So like a bunch of people had gone in and out of that fucking house. They were fucking college students that had a party like earlier that night with a bunch of pictures there. I mean, yeah,
You think maybe he was already there?
I don't know.
So that's what we, like me and Rachel were talking about it the other night, and it's like maybe he was trying to go to the party, and they were like, "No."
Well, no, because he had been scoping the place out. We were talking about it a little bit off air.
In the morning and at night.
Morning and
Or evening,
late night, very
or-
very early morning.
Yeah,
They figured out, I think it was tracking his phone or some shit,
where he
that
was.
he was going over to that residence, like just checking it out, and this would have been going on since like August.
That's so scary.
And he's
to think.
also going through college to be a
Criminology or some shit.
criminologist
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, he
and-
was trying to get him. He was going to try to be a police officer.
Yeah, and there was
Yeah.
people that have came out and said, "Oh, he was in class, the day after it, just like nothing ever happened."
Well,
But,
that's what serial killers do. They're fucking psychotic.
Sup-
And they're in class the next day,
supposedly he showed back up to the residence like 9 o'clock in the morning or something the day after. Or it was 9 hours later. It was one or the other. I can't remember what it said in there.
an hour after the cops were called.
But, I always thought that was just like a old movie thing, where they say the criminal always returns to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
I guess there's some truth to it. 'Cause it does seem to.
Well, I
happen.
mean, if you really think about it, I don't know. Put yourself there. I'm not a serial killer, but if you kind of want to go back and be like, I don't know, I'd kind of want to know, or like you robbed a bank, like what happened after that? Like,
you
know what I
want to
mean?
see what they're doing. There was like
yeah, like what's going on? I'd be kind of curious.
Not me.
I get
I robbed a
freaking-
bank. The last place I would want to be is back at that fucking bank.
It's like
Free guy.
no, I was thinking Two Guns. Is it Two Guns? With Denzel Washington and I always get the other guy mixed up. I always want to say it's Matt Damien, but it's not.
Ethan Hawke?
Mark Wahlberg, I think. They go to rob a bank. The bank's full of mafia. Not mafia. Cartel money. And Denzel Washington tells the other dude, he's like, you know the old saying, right? He's like, what? He'll never rob a bank next to the best donut store in the for 3 counties or something like that. So they end up burning the donut stand down, so the cops don't come back around there.
Oh shit!
It's a pretty good movie.
Anything with Denzel Washington's good. I swear, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the whole.
But yeah, I mean,
You know what I was thinking of when we were talking about all this is that video you sent me.
oh yeah, Yeah.
We watched this video that made me think of this whole situation. They were young kids. This happened back 2011?
It was 2010,
2010, 2011. We probably heard about it at that time and we just forgot about it. But this kid was dating this other kid. They were like 15. And they had a falling out. And this other kid, I guess he would be a kid, 18, liked the 15-year-old girl. And she was all upset over how the other 15-year-old kid was treating her. Ended up, the 18-year-old came back and said that, why don't we just kill him? And they all were like, oh, okay. And
Sounds like a good idea.
sounds
Let's
like a
do
great
it.
idea.
Yeah.
Let's kill him. Not thinking that he was being truthful. I don't think they really thought that was. I don't know what they thought.
Yeah, who knows?
Who
what they were
knows?
thinking?
And she called him over, the 15-year-old kid, and he came over, and two of the kids that were there, 15 and 20, like hit him over the head with these like sticks, right?
Yeah.
And tried to knock him unconscious, couldn't. And then the 18-year-old kid who liked her ended up shooting him, and he wasn't even dead at first. And he was trying to get out and stuff like that, so he kept shooting him and stuff, and finally ended up killing him.
With a revolver, had to reload.
A 22 revolver too. Think about how 22 is.
Yeah, just kept sitting there fucking shooting him until he was fucking dead. After they beat him over the head with poles and shit.
What
Right.
the fuck?
So they
Yeah.
freaking go and they, shoot him. Finally kill him.
For what reason? I mean,
Because they said they're just gonna kill him.
they just were like, well, let's
They
just
don't like
fucking-
the kid, so they just figured they're just gonna kill him. So 15-year-old kid, right? So they freaking take his body up to the. I mean, and this is like you can find it on YouTube. It's like an hour and 20-minute video, and it goes through like all the interrogation of all the different people that were involved. So it gives all the details.
They showed the actual interrogation
all
videos.
Yes.
Oh shit!
That's really interesting. So I'll have to find it and we'll have to send it to you so you can watch it.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's crazy to watch the videos of the interrogations because the way they line them out. So, like, the girl that was dating the dude that got killed, her brother was in on it.
He was one of the ones that hit.
He was
Hit
one of
him
the
with
ones
the
that hit him
stick.
with the stick.
He was 15 himself. Was a half brother.
Oh shit!
They
So
were young kids.
the next morning, when the mom was like, "Hey, where's my son at? He's not here." Calls the police, and they put out a search. You know, like, this kid's missing,
Yeah.
fucking yada yada yada. We need to find him. Well, the brother got to feeling guilty about it, and started telling his mom, like, "I might know something about all this." And that's how they got him in, pulled him in. But anyways, so they shot him,
And then they brought his body up to the bathroom, right?
took his body up to the bathroom, proceeded to beat him.
Beat him still while his body was. No,
Post-mortem.
it was mostly the 18-year-old that beat him, and continuing to beat him
After he's already dead.
after he
he's
was
already
dead.
dead. Then
Yeah.
they drag him outside into the burn pile, and the brother and the 20-year-old sat there all night and made sure his body burned.
Yeah.
God damn.
The next morning, they
Collecting all his ashes
collecting
and
all of his
bones.
ashes, putting them in a 5-gallon bucket. I think it was 2 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah.
When they found his skull, they ripped all of his fucking teeth out of
It
his
wasn't
fucking...
they. It was the 18-year-old.
The 18-year-old ripped all of his teeth out of his fucking skull.
And was like having like just like out of his mind being like, oh, this is so funny. Let's rip his teeth out. And then, yeah.
Wow.
They get what's left of him into a couple of 5-gallon buckets. The brother calls his stepdad. His stepdad comes over, helps him load the buckets up, and takes them out to a quarry. They tie fucking brick cylinders onto it and throw it out in the fucking quarry,
Yeah, to get rid of it.
the rock quarry, where they used to dig up, and now
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a body of water.
Flooded out
Yeah.
with water. Yeah.
Everybody goes back to their business. Nothing ever happened. Well, the 18-year-old ended up having another girlfriend in like the next state over or county over, whatever it was. He went to go stay with her for a couple days. And
to get away. Yeah.
Yeah, to get away. and he slipped up. It didn't tell didn't tell her parents that he did all this. He was just like, oh, I kind of got an altercation, you know, some shit happened, yada yada yada. Probably gonna end up getting arrested over it, yada yada yada. Well, the dad goes to work, and when he gets to work, you know, he's like, hey, I got something I gotta take care of. I can't come in today. Like, I'm okay. I'm not sick, but I got some real matters I gotta go do right now. Gets off of work to go home. Well, in the process of him doing all this, 18-year-old sitting down with her mom, his girlfriend's mom, and tells her pretty much the whole story.
Oh, fuck.
But puts it to her as if it was self-defense and yada, yada,
The
yada.
dude
yada.
went ballistic, and we tried to
Yeah.
Oh
stop
yeah, the
him.
dude
Yeah.
was saying like, oh, the dude was raping my sister. Anyways,
Yeah, told her this big
So
old
we
dramatic
beat him over
story.
the head and shot him fucking 25
Then
times.
burnt his
And
body.
burned his
That's why
body
we
and
did
ripped
that.
the fucking teeth out of
Yeah.
his skull. And
And so she's freaking out, like, what the fuck do I do? You know, like, holy shit. And so she is trying to get a hold of one. She gets away from him. She's trying to call her friend to figure out what the fuck she needs to do. You know, like, this ain't right. And in the midst of all that, the fucking police show up and find him. And dad's coming home. Well, they end up arresting everybody in the fucking house. They were trying to get the parents of the girlfriend for accessory and shit like that because they were harboring a fugitive. And they ended up getting out of it. Nothing happened to them when it all came down.
no.
But it was just like, I mean, what would you do in that situation?
the kids. So the girlfriend, the one that owned the house, the one that hit him over the head, and the other one that hit him over the head. Those 4 got life,
And
Like-
the stepdad.
and the stepdad. So 5. 5 got life. 'Cause they were all young, like kids.
But you know, in all the interrogation videos, they never showed the interrogation videos with the stepdad.
No, they never did.
So we don't know what his story was.
But the interrogation videos were interesting.
And
Yeah.
the 18-year-old
I'm
wasn't
sure.
in there either.
because they all use different tactics, and then in the YouTube
The
video,
interrogators or the
interrogators all use different tactics, and they explain in the actual YouTube video what kind of tactics they're using,
right,
and you can
like
see
how to draw all the information
Yeah.
out.
Oh, which is
like,
super
Like the
interesting.
20-year-old was like, I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I don't even get why I'm down here.
Yeah, he was
You know,
denying
like,
it,
I
denying
didn't
it,
fucking
denying
do
it.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, the guy you're asking me about, yeah, I've seen him a couple times. I don't know who the fuck he is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you guys got me down here for? When can I go? You know,
Yeah.
and the brother is like, oh man, you know, we decided to do this and we beat him over the head with this and
Says
he shot.
everything.
Yeah, he's just laying it fucking out. Like he's giving
Right,
them a
giving them
complete
the whole
fucking
fucking
roadmap
thing.
of everything.
Right.
Which I get. You know, I think he was 16,
No, he's
17.
15.
He was 15.
Just like her, it was half brother and half sister.
So, you know, he's just like,
They were
he's
kids.
spilt the beans on fucking everything. Well, then they start using his story against all the other kids' stories, and the girls started breaking. And then they go back to the 20-year-old, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then they're like, look, so these 3 have already told us the whole story. We haven't arrested this guy yet, but we're going to get him.
But pretty much
And
they're blaming you.
Everybody's blaming you for all this.
And
This
they
is-
were.
This is all your fault. You know, they said you're the one that hit him over the head. You're the one that shot him. You're the one that burnt him.
Fuck
You're the one that ripped his
Jimmy's
teeth
the
out.
one that shot his
Oh yeah,
ass.
right then and there. He's like,
he was like, oh
so
yeah.
if it's like that,
Oh, yeah?
okay, it's gonna be like that. He said, and he's just all of a sudden spilled everything. He's like, oh, this is what happened. This is what we did. This is who was involved. Like he just
Yeah.
broke. He broke.
But like, you know, he was 20. The other kid was 18. All the other ones are
Under
No, the
age
one
of
girl was
anything.
18.
The one girl that owned the house was
18. Charlie. I remember her
The other
name.
2 were 15. Like,
Yeah.
your life is fucking over.
legit over.
Fucking crazy.
Over. You're not gonna do anything.
Over what? I mean, and that's what I'm wondering. It's like, what the fuck was it really about?
I don't know what kids are thinking sometimes when they do things. Like we've all done stupid stuff as kids.
That's
and,
like those the chicks. Do you remember? There was a girl. I think it was it 3 girls or 2 girls? But they were like best friends. I think it was 3.
there was 3. The 2 girls freaking killed the
And
one
they
girl.
ended up killing the
Oh,
one
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like for no reason really, other than
No,
just,
they just said they didn't like her anymore.
yeah, they just got tired of fucking
They
hanging
said,
out with her.
we don't like her anymore, so we're
Yeah.
just gonna kill her.
And get her out of the fucking picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you're up to that point, why don't you just talk to somebody and be like, look, you're fucking annoying. I don't want you around me anymore. Just fucking leave because you're a fucking idiot. You know, like
But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it was super. We'll have to send it. It's an interesting.
It's a long video.
I had to watch it in two parts.
It's like an hour and
20 minutes. Yeah, but it's interesting. It's actually super interesting.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
that's like did you hear about the doctor in SoCal?
Doctor and SoCal.
Oh, with the family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking male doctor, his wife, and 2 daughters. I don't think either of the daughters was over 5 or 6.
No,
I
they
mean,
were
they
young.
Were,
They
they
were,
were
like,
young
young.
kids. Driving his Tesla down the fucking road and decided to fucking drive off a cliff.
The driver decided to.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm done with it, or doctor, I should say, whatever.
Fucking
Drove.
It's like in the cliff he drove off of is called Devil's Cliff or Devil's Canyon.
One of
or
those things like that. Yeah.
But
They all survived.
they all survived.
all survived.
And it's like a
Hey.
250-foot sheer drop.
And they didn't
And they
hit
were
the,
in a Tesla.
Tesla
What?
it didn't
landed
burn up.
upside down.
Yes, they are all fine.
They had the helicopter him out of there. Had the helicopter firemen and paramedics down to the car. Helicopter everybody out. During high tide, the car would have been underwater.
They were like, it was like the most
Oh.
best situation, worst situation, I guess, for him to happen because now they arrested him. So they
He-
went to the hospital.
He's still in critical care with handcuffs on him, sitting
Yeah.
in a hospital bed right now.
Yep.
Wow.
Probably doesn't even know he's arrested. Probably don't even know he's fucking alive.
But a super prominent guy in SoCal. Tons of money. Like, and just
What would
all of
push
a
you to
sudden
wanna-
decided to, yeah.
And they're like, and we know he purposely drove off the cliff.
Oh, I'm sure the car told him everything.
That's what I was getting to. Is he's a lot of people don't think about it, but the Tesla records everything.
Every fucking
They-
day.
they
That thing
know-
was probably telling him, like, what are you doing, jackass? No, no, no. And he's like, oh, yes, yes, yes. And
Like, they got a roadmap of exactly what the fuck he did.
I'm surprised it didn't step in and, like,
Like, stop him from
Completely.
doing
You're
it.
not killing me.
Because
yeah, you know, like maybe the car had like a self-preservation feature built into it to where it's like, no, you are not going to deliberately run me off a cliff. Sorry, buddy.
Well, it did the best situation. Like, it,
I mean, yeah, I mean, it did save everybody in the car, so yeah, that's
like if it,
fucking
like,
cool.
like this is the cliff, it went like this. Like this. It,
Oh,
it didn't
no
go.
shit.
See if I can find it.
It went literally
It just like kind of slid down.
yes,
The cliff.
and then right in a specific spot, just totally fine.
Yeah, and the car looked pretty fucking tore up
Shit.
too, dude. Looked pretty tore up.
It's so crazy, yeah. But
Hey, everybody wants to talk shit about Teslas, but there you go.
my sister just got one.
Really?
She lives in SoCal. It's the SoCal. It's a
other
SoCal thing.
sister. Okay.
Yeah. No, that one has a Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
she's a
I
Ford
I was
driver.
gonna say because I thought she just got that not too long
Yeah.
ago, too, right?
Some different pictures of it. Which I mean is saying something for a Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it was a 250-foot sheer cliff that fell down, and for it to be able to allow all 4 passengers to survive.
Which is the scary. You know how that's
Well, you know,
That
the,
has scarred
the sad,
those family
the
for
sad,
life.
The sad thing is they're only saying if the dad's alive or not. They're saying everybody else is alive, but they're like, dad's in critical care. He's like this, arrested. What about the 2 little girls and the fucking mom? Like,
yeah. Well, they're only going to be focused on him because it's
oh yeah,
that's the big
He's
story.
the popular one or whatever.
That's the big story right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and he's the one that was driving. You know, not like the wife was driving, or if they had it on autopilot, and all of a sudden it decided to take a fucking hard right when there was no hard right to take. You know.
yeah.
you know, it's kind of like what I was talking with. Me and Rachel were talking, and it's like, I wonder if they were arguing or something, and the chick was telling him to pull over, and he didn't want to pull over, and she grabbed the wheel and fucking yoinked it.
No, I feel like they arrested him for a reason. There has to. I bet.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
They arrested him for a reason.
I've seen people arguing and shit
Yeah.
like that happen. Though.
Yeah, but
Not
have you
so
ever,
much
have
off
you
a
ever seen the
cliff.
steering wheel in a Tesla though? I
Yeah.
don't think it'd be very easy to yank it. Especially if you had like the plaid, which you probably did. You know, it's got like a crazy like yoke.
I feel like it was
It's
totally
not like
him.
a regular wheel.
It was totally him.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it was or wasn't. I'm just saying
Yeah.
there are other possibilities to what happened.
True.
Well, maybe
That's
it was
true.
just a classic thing. You ever remember that? It's been in movies and shit. Kids are arguing in the back and whatever. The wife's trying to yell at them or whatever, and the dad's just like, you guys don't calm down. I'll fucking drive this car right off the cliff. Maybe he threw out that threat. Nobody took him seriously, and he was like, "Well, here we go."
Fucking told you.
That's silly.
You imagine growing up and knowing your dad drove you off a cliff on purpose?
Probably gonna be
Trust
famous.
me. Fuck you. I ain't trusting shit about you, motherfucker.
Probably gonna be famous. I mean,
Oh, he already is.
you got a good story like that to work off of.
Now, there's another story I was watching on YouTube. Not sure where this one was. I want to say it was in like Texas or something like that. But this chick got a divorce. It was in the process of divorcing her husband. He ended up shooting everybody in the fucking family, including himself.
They were like prominent people, like in the community, and like just everything. They went to church. Everybody knew him in church, and one of those situations where
So-
like,
And the
Yeah.
mother-in-law was staying over there. Her mom was staying there to make sure everything was going to go smooth.
she got shot too.
She got shot.
yeah,
So he
Damn.
shot his mother-in-law, his
Yeah.
his soon-to-be ex-wife,
and his 5
his
kids,
17-year-old daughter, 12-year-old,
12-year-old daughter,
12-year-old daughter,
twins, and a 4-year-old, 7-year-old,
twins,
and a
and then a
4-year-old.
4-year-old,
Yeah,
and then shot himself.
I
Couldn't do it.
That's like mind blowing.
This
Couldn't do it.
this is what's happening in 2023. All of a sudden, there are all these crazy ass freaking stories that we're hearing of these families and people.
Yeah,
getting,
and it's like, okay,
what's going on?
not saying that I would do it, but I can see the rationale of in the heat of the moment, you're fighting back and forth and you end up shooting your significant other.
Yeah.
Husband shoots the wife shoots the husband, back and forth, whatever.
Yeah, but to go to
But to
kill
go and kill
kids?
not only just one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 or 6 kids.
He that was
Stand
That's-
still, you
that
little
was-
shit.
that's horrible.
And that's when I was like, what the fuck? Did he just like go room to room, or did he line them up? And
I had no idea, but I mean,
It's pretty sad.
yeah. I mean, can you imagine like?
talk about late term abortion. Fuck.
Well, you imagine being
So sad.
somebody, one of
Right.
those crime scene investigators, got to go
Sad.
through and document all that shit. Like
Like my friend.
that would just be.
Ooh.
Oh, she
yeah,
told me a
man.
story the other day. It was really, speaking of
When
stories
is she
like
gonna
that,
ever come on here?
I don't know, but if she does, she probably can't say her name where she works, but she can probably tell some really good stories.
That's fine.
Or I'll just
Be
tell him. I'll tell
anonymous.
him for her because she tells him for me. But
We can even like adjust her voice a little bit, when I post process. and
we
make
need
it
one
all
of those
like-
ones that are like the deep
audio.
voices. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I'll do. I'll be like,
like the deep voice.
well, I can change the pitch, but keep the speed going, so she can just be there and just be like, hello, my name is.
She told me a story the other day. Her first homicide that she went on with the child, and she says that she got there and they found the child. It was a 4-year-old in the dryer, and
Fuck.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And what happened was the 13-year-old neighbor across the street had done some bad stuff to the 4-year-old. And when the 4-year-old said, "I'm going to tell my family and tell my parents," he drowned. He tried to. Well, he drowned him pretty much, and then put his body in the dryer.
Because the dryer was broke.
Because the
and
dryer was
nobody
broke and
looking
nobody
there.
was going to look in the dryer. And then he figured once he was.
okay, I figured he like stuffed the kid in the dryer and turned it on a spin cycle.
No, he drowned him. No, he drowned him
Who
first.
put shoes in the dryer? Fuck.
He drowned him. What the hell is that about? He drowned him first, and then did that. And so she had to go there and discover that, and take care of that situation, she has to get all that DNA and all the other stuff that she has to go through. So she said that was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Just kind of, yeah. She's been through,
Yeah.
she sees some,
Oh, I can only imagine because I mean, even like my little short stint doing the tow truck thing, I got to
she's-
see some pretty gruesome stuff, and you know, I didn't get to see half the shit I'm sure she does.
Oh, we were talking about, she knows everything. I mean, like, how, like, guns enter bodies and the right guns for what, and it's horrible, but, I mean, she was talking about, like, this is turning into an interesting podcast, but she was talking about how, like, 22s, like, somebody tried to unlive themselves and put it at their head, and the 22 bullet got stuck in the head, just got stuck right
You know,
there.
lodged in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they tried another method and they succeeded. But she was just talking about just the different stuff that she's seen.
They
You,
tried
you
other
imagine
methods
trying
and-
to shoot yourself with a 22 in the middle of the forehead and just
mother
fucking large in there? I mean,
son of a bitch!
you're that dumb. Do you pull it twice and just try your luck? Or, I mean, how do you think they go to the back of the head?
He did it. They did it right here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, fucking the front of the head didn't work, so
I don't know. I mean, it's like
what were they? First of all,
Pulp-
what were
Pulp
they
Fi-
thinking
Pulp
of? Like,
Fiction
put
when-
it to the front of their head. I mean,
They were young and they didn't know. They just think a gun.
Yes.
Well, if you
fucking
really, if you,
bulletproof.
imagine if they wouldn't have done it to the back of the head and survived, and
there was
the
another.
shit they could have talked.
Well, there's another
Or
story.
probably would have talked.
No,
She
yeah.
had one where a young
Bulletproof
girl, like, took a 22 and did it to the side of her head, and the bullet went through the front of her and out the side, and didn't hit her brain at all.
Stayed between.
It just fucking
twin-
rode
stayed-
the skull.
Yeah,
Yes, and
stayed
went
between
out.
the skin and the skull.
And she
went
didn't try
around,
it. She
came out
didn't-
the other side.
Oh, didn't even go through the skull.
No, it hit the skull, bounced around under the skin,
It went
and
out.
then came out the other side of her head.
She
So it
survived it.
Went under the skin, around her forehead, under her skin, and then out of her skin.
So she says to me, if you're ever going to use a 22, she's like, 22s will kill people, but don't aim for the head. She's like, aim for the torso. And I was like, oh, interesting. That's just a good friend to have, you know? Like,
Yeah. Aim for the torso. You get a gut shot on because yeah, they're gonna. It might be slow, but they will die.
shout out to my friend who knows how to clean up a crime scene if I need her. I love that. Like, oh, man. Yeah.
Oh shit! In other news, have you guys heard about the Roombas that have been going kind of rogue?
The Roombas,
Oh, those
Yeah.
little
the vacuum
vacuum
cleaners.
thingies that we have.
the automatic vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the fall of 2020, gig workers in Venezuela posted a series of images to online forums where they'd gathered to talk shop. The photos were mundane, if sometimes intimate, household scenes captured from low angles, including some you really wouldn't want shared on the internet. In one particularly revealing shot, a young woman in a lavender t-shirt sits on the toilet, her shirt pulled down to mid-thigh. The images were not taken by a person, but by a development version of iRobot's Roomba J7 series vacuums.
Good times.
Yep, they were then sent to Scale AI, a startup that contracts workers around the world to label audio, photo, and video data used to train artificial intelligence. Yeah, so they were the sort of scenes that internet-connected devices regularly capture and send back to the cloud, though usually with a stricter storage and access controlled. Yet earlier this year, MIT Technology Review obtained 15 screenshots of these private photos, which had been posted to closed social media groups. So,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, if you were part of that group, tell me you wouldn't fucking post them.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
This is fucking TikTok gold.
But that just goes to show, man. I mean, it's like everything.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
little vacuums, your Alexa. I mean, obviously our phones, but everybody.
Oh,
should,
your phones, you already know that
Everybody
already.
should be aware of that one by now.
Yeah.
But literally everything, though, in your house.
Our camera.
Yep.
All right.
Makes you wonder if people have seen in that house.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Is it connected to the cloud?
sometimes.
You might be making it rain somewhere.
Somebody better be making it rain on me if they're getting my pictures. Shit.
Should do like an OnlyFans at this point.
It's like
Make more money.
have you seen that dude on TikTok that does the OnlyFans? He became fucking. He's like a millionaire now.
For selling, just being on OnlyFans?
Being on OnlyFans, I don't know what he does, but he fucking paid off his mom and dad's fucking house.
You know what, though?
What the fuck is he doing on OnlyFans though?
Is he
That's-
saying-
What's that video you showed me where the dad's riding the fucking dildo?
It's that fucking Gillian Keeves.
The family comes home, they're trying to find dad. It's like Thanksgiving or something. They're like, your dad's working. Mom's like, your dad's working.
They have a funny. I've seen a lot of their skits. Yeah.
How do you think I paid for college?
You like that PS4?
I heard we've had this conversation before on the podcast, but it's really hard to get in. Believe me, I've seen TikToks. It's hard to get into OnlyFans to like have a following. You have to. A lot of people think that it's because it's subscription based, so you're having to pay for it for so long before you really get popular. I guess you have to have really pretty feet or something. I don't know.
I think you could just go blow it up on Twitter for a little bit, and once you start developing that following on Twitter, you just let it flow over to OnlyFans and
TikTok or anything.
Or even
you know?
TikTok, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all it is comes down to is you just gotta fucking post like every hour. You know, you just get devoted to it and you just fucking post every fucking hour. It don't matter if it's the dumbest bullshit or what. You just fucking post it, and before long, you just become, you know, in the top part. You kind of bubble up to the top of the algorithm.
The number is 4. You're supposed to post 4 videos a day.
No.
A day. A day. You know how much work that is?
Oh yeah.
That's
sure,
honestly, that's why people quit their jobs. I swear to God, I want to be a social influencer. But like seriously, they quit their jobs and do
It
that
becomes
full
a full-time job.
And all they do is edit videos and make videos and like content for their TikTok and like are millionaires. Like,
Well, some people
it's
have
crazy
turned it
to
into
me.
full-on fucking enterprises. I mean,
Yeah. I follow some people and it's crazy. They just start making videos of whatever interests them.
Yep.
They get a following. It gets into the algorithm, people that like that type of stuff, and then they just become famous. It's just, it seems too easy to me, but I can't figure out the algorithm too much to know exactly.
You got to figure the code out.
I
Once you figure out that
know.
little secret code, then you're in it.
Well, my mom, I started a little thing she makes earrings. And so I started a little TikTok for her, and I posted 4 videos yesterday just for because I said maybe you could sell them. I don't know if I can sell them, and so I posted a video, and I got like 310 likes within like 2 hours, which I was really surprised about.
You know what it is nowadays. You know what you got to do. You got to take your dogs and go like throw them in a mud puddle or
Oh,
like a
something.
hole or something like
Yeah.
that, and make it look like they're in distress. And then you happen to come across them and you find them and fucking save them and clean them up and make them all happy again. Millions of views.
Fucking same
There's
dog in 30
different
different videos.
There's all different things that you can do. I mean, I don't even. Yeah, I really think we need to like Ryan's World, all these other shows that Kenny watches. They
Oh,
make
yeah.
tons of money.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing
I thought
something
they came
wrong.
down on the kid stuff on YouTube.
Not that I've seen.
No.
Not that I've seen either.
Not the videos we let Kenny watch.
Because I know when you post, you have to say if it's for kids or not. Like, is this video intended for children or is it not intended for children? You actually have to, like, click one or the other.
Which is interesting, the stuff that's intended for children, if you really look.
Oh, I'm sure there's some... I've heard you can find some fucked up shit sometimes.
Oh, I heard
It was
we've
really
already,
bad in the early days.
We found some stuff already.
Yeah, stuff talking about suicide and like all kinds of shit, chopping heads off and almost like Happy Tree Friends type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Like fucking, it's crazy.
Well, some of these older people, I would say older kids, but I mean, there's full out adults doing it too. Like,
Yeah.
you never know what the fuck's going to happen in a goddamn video. You're sitting there you got to listen to it for at least 10, 15 minutes and then it's over with. And you're like, okay, that one was okay. Go ahead and you can go ahead and watch it, you know, like. Well, sometimes you'll be listening and be like, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah. And then
You
we're
better
all turn it
that
off.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because his is like restricted to a point. It doesn't. There's parental restrictions on it, but not so tightened up, because it blocks like everything. And it's like there's some things where I'm like, why is it blocking that? That's dumb. So it's kind of like, it's almost like in a teenager kind of, right? Kind of a little bit, yeah, or like a preteen type age. I don't know.
Yeah. Supposedly now too, I've been seeing some stuff about it where if you post a video on YouTube, if you don't keep it clean for like the first 15 or 30 seconds or something like that, you automatically get demonetized.
Really?
Yeah. So basically you can't say fuck, shit, any of the foul language stuff for at least the first 15 or 30 seconds.
And then after that, you can.
I guess after that you're okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you can't say dead. What was not dead? Killed. You can't say killed on TikTok.
There's
No.
so many, like,
You can't say that. You have to say unalive.
seemingly unoffensive things
I'm not kidding.
that get blocked.
I'm not kidding. Well, yeah, the video of freaking Thanos.
It's
What the fuck?
so fucking
Really?
wild.
I wasn't like I
Even-
was freaking. You didn't see anything in the video except for. It's ridiculous to me.
YouTube comments. Like, I've been on a few live chats, like live streams or whatever, and you're in chat. And one of them, we were talking about different shit that, you buy and sell and all that. And I was going to say something about a white elephant. You know what a white elephant is, right? It's like basically something you pretty much get for free or for a really good deal, but it ends up becoming a burden because of how much money you have to put into it.
Yep.
So I tried to put that, as, something about a white elephant. YouTube would not let me say a white elephant.
Why?
It just said error. It wouldn't let me post
What the
white
heck?
elephant.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's offensive somehow.
Well, it's funny like how some of these people, like I watched this one show. It's called Rebuild Rescue, and this guy's got a charity where what he's going to end up doing eventually is his charity has bought a complete lake and everything around it, and they're going to build cabins all the way throughout around this thing. He's rebuilding a yacht to put in the lake so people can enjoy it, and it's all going to be for veterans.
Oh, nice.
And he's rebuilding it's like a 60s, I want to say it's a 60s Air fucking Cessna dual prop plane. It's a
Shit.
401A. I mean, it holds probably 10 to 14 people, including pilot and the two pilots. But so he gets this plane for free, but the owner tells him you can have this plane only if you can start the motors though. And the plane hadn't been started in umpteen years. It's been sitting out there, and the window was broken open, so the birds were going in
and out of
shitting
it
in
and
and out of
shit, yeah.
it. And I mean, it was
Pretty ragged.
it was pretty messed up, dude. Like,
weathered.
yeah, and then the birds made nests all the way around the motors. They're a 6-cylinder turbocharged motor. So he ended up getting both motors to run, and the guy gave him the plane. Well, when they got the motors to run, he took the plane just to see if it would actually move up and down the runway. He'd replace the tires on it, and he's got AP mechanics helping him do all this stuff.
Right,
It's not just him doing it, know. And they ended up taking the plane down the runway. They never took off. They just wanted to see if it would get up to speed, and it got up to speed to where it could, but then one of the motors caught fire. So
Nice.
they stopped, jumped out, put it out, brought it back around to the hangar. And like 2 episodes later, he's talking about the FAA came out and some stuff was going down. Well, come to find out, what happened was people that are watching the videos got pissed off and called the FAA on him and turned him in because he took it down the runway. He's not an AP certified mechanic and all this other stuff. Well, they're not planning on flying the plane at all right now.
Regardless of the fact it never left the ground.
Dude, they got this thing 100% disassembled right now. I mean, they got the paint off of the plane. The wing straps are outdated. I think he said that they could put another like 500 hours on it before they had to get redone. But he found another plane in like England or something like that. They're shipping it over for the wings because the bar straps have already been done on it. Plus, he got motors. He got a complete plane that's taken apart. But the problem is that he's not an AP certified, so they turned him into the FAA. Well, the FAA came down and started saying, what's happening? This is what we were told. Is this what you're doing? And he's like, oh no, I'm. As far as I understand from the guidelines, is I can be working on the plane as long as there's an AP mechanic that's certified working with me, and that's what I'm doing. As per what your book says, that's okay. Is it not? And come to find out, everything he's doing is by the book. There was a couple things that he didn't know for the logs as they're rebuilding stuff. He didn't know there were certain things he had to put in the logs for that.
Right.
So they went through all of the backlogs on the plane. They got him, not so much they got him for that, but they told him, this is about the only thing we're seeing wrong right here. This is what you need to do. And they actually sat down with him and helped him log everything the right way and told him this is how it needs to be done. So it ended up being kind of a blessing in disguise. But at the same time, it's like
a little bit of education on it.
Yeah, there's people out there just like can't just enjoy the video. They got to call the FAA and be like, hey, you need to check this guy out because he's doing this. Like, I can't believe you guys would let somebody do that.
Right.
It's
Well, it's like Whistling Diesel. He's always trolling people with that kind of shit.
Oh, he does it on purpose too.
It's like the helicopter that he bought, dude. That was hilarious. Did you see the video where he flew it?
Yeah, did you see the video before that, the plane?
I think I've seen.
It wasn't like right before. That was like a year or two ago. He put it out.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of that one.
He got in trouble with the FAA over that too, but he never took off.
Right. Well, with the helicopter, it was hilarious because he had it hooked to a crane or some shit, and he's slinging it around. He got it looking like he's flying it.
Yeah. He likes fucking with people, dude. And I'm sure some people, if they turned in that other guy, I'm sure there's people turning them in on that.
Oh yeah.
It makes me think of, I watched this. It's like 2 years old now, but the Sky King, the guy who he was like worked at the airport and took the airplane and like hijacked it and like.
No, he didn't even work there.
Yeah, he did. He was a traffic control person.
Was he?
Yeah, and he
The
worked.
one that went to like Colombia or
No, he just took off,
He
flew
just
around
took
in
off
circles,
and drove around in circles.
and then crashed it somewhere.
Yeah, and then crashed it. Yep.
Killed himself.
Oh no shit.
But yeah, no, he took off the. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny if you listen to him talking over
The recordings.
radio.
We'll send you that one too. That is actually funny. Yeah.
He's like, "Woo, yeah!"
Let's do this. Empty plane, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Empty.
Yeah,
plane.
but no, there's videos of him getting out there and unhooking everything back in the plane. Like, got the plane backing up, and he's out of it, disconnecting stuff, and the plane's just backing up by itself. And then he runs and jumps in it, closes the doors, and he starts going. And he takes off.
He flies for a while, and he talks to them, and they try to talk him down. He's like,
I think I remember.
and he
something
pretty much
about
says
that.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. Like, if I go down, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be nose down, and I'm not stopping.
Something
Like,
about because he didn't know how to land to begin with or whatever, and I think he said something about that.
he
Like,
did actually really good. Like, it was never an autopilot. He did that thing this whole entire self. Like, it was, and everybody on TikTok loved him because like they call him the Sky King because he was
Sky King.
because he was so free, and he was like, you know what, fuck this job, I'm gonna go up there and I'm
gone.
fly this plane, and I don't care what anybody says. And
There had to be parachutes on that plane. I mean, it's like, why not just go take off and just?
he knew
gone,
he
you
knew he
know?
was in trouble,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so he and
You're
but he
pretty much done.
but
at
he
that
wasn't a
point
dick about
anyways.
anything. He had like the best personality. He was super happy, and he was living life, and he was like, you know what, this is great. I'm just so happy,
You remember Kai, right?
Oh,
The hitchhiker, the one that was here in Fresno, and
Yeah.
then he
Chopped
ended
the
up
dude's
going
fucking
back
head
east
with an
and
axe.
fucking well, he ended up back east, I think it was, or maybe Oregon or somewhere, murdering somebody because supposedly the guy tried to rape him or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they're doing a documentary on him.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it.
A Netflix.
Maybe on Netflix. Yeah, it might be.
Netflix has good documentaries.
You just look up Kai, and
Yeah.
it should pop up.
I'll have to look at that. That's interesting.
Wacha, wacha.
From Dogtown.
Oh shit. What's weird is that was just like right down the street where all that happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. it wasn't
literally
too
3 or
far.
4 blocks
A few
over.
blocks away, yeah. Shit's fucking wild. Everybody was praising his ass too, man. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
another one of those where it was just like he was just like a legend, and then all of a sudden he shows up murdering some old dude because supposedly the old guy tried to rape him.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
You taking pictures of me?
Maybe.
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 Are you doing that anime thing again?
What,
Oh, shit.
what anime
No,
thing?
fucking-
Yeah.
Wacha.
What anime thing?
No.
Turning
we-
us-
I already
turning
did
us-
that one.
Oh.
No, but that was funny, huh? It
Yeah.
turned all the stuff in front of art into like good stuff, and then it turned a bird to a girl.
It was a girl, wasn't it?
Sorry,
It's like a
Bird.
bandana on. But
Sorry, Bird, but
I
you were a
wanna
girl in
say
anime.
It did look like a girl, like an
Yeah.
anime girl. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it turned him into a girl. I don't know why, but and it doesn't like literally it's not the same. That thing is kind of fun.
Is that an AI deal or something?
Yeah, it doesn't do the same thing for everybody or everything. It changes. Everything is completely different. No matter you never get the same thing.
I've been playing around with one. It was called Starry AI.
AI
And-
things are popular right now.
Yeah, and it's the same deal though. I mean, you can either give it pictures or you can just tell it what
Yeah.
you're looking for, or you like that you can add pictures in there and tell it do this and do this and do this style. With this style of use this as your base, and you can evolve it and tell it not to do certain things and do more
Yeah,
shit.
AI filters are like the popular thing now.
Yeah. Supposedly that one that's super crazy that we've talked about a little bit, that chat, it's OpenAI, but I can't remember, it's like GPM chat or something like that. It's like a 2.0 or 3.0 right now, and everybody's talking about how really good it is. Well, I guess Windows is talking with that company that makes it, and they're going to take the 4.0 version and like try to integrate it into Windows.
Oh,
Where
shit.
fucking Windows is going to have artificial intelligence built into it. Not some bullshit artificial, like legit
Yeah.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, see where we're at. We're already there. It's like Free Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That or Terminator.
Oh
What's-
yeah,
what's
that's
maybe a
true.
mix
What's
of both.
another movie we
That's
watched
true.
with Kenny where AI takes over the cell phone, and the family is the only one that saves the world.
Oh,
Weird dad, and
the cartoon.
yeah.
Yeah, I forget the movie's called, but I know there's 4 people in the family. Yeah, I forget what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a
Kind of a Pixar style movie, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a series, and he's like talking to him before he goes on stage. He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't have got here without you," and yada yada yada. And he goes up on stage, and he's like, "Oh yeah, da, 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 but we don't need this old piece of crap anymore." Kind of throws the phone on the ground, pulls out the whole new thing, and phone gets jealous and fucking takes over these robots that he built, and they fucking start capturing humans and putting them in these spacecrafts to take off in the outer
Don't need
space.
me, huh?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
And then this family ends up, the most dysfunctional family ends up saving the world.
It's always like
Yeah.
that.
The dog's face overloads the program for the robots.
Yeah, because it's like
Dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, pig.
I have seen that one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
It
it's pretty
is.
good.
There's a lot of these kids movies that are pretty good. But there's been
Yeah.
a couple that came out in a couple last couple months, and it's just like, be a good movie if they'd leave certain things out.
Well, they're trying to go woke with everything.
Well,
That's
it
the
is on
problem.
everything.
Every fucking show.
Honestly, even on the kids show that we like,
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
in the kids show that we like I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it, but I know that there's certain things that I do have a problem with.
Yeah. Totally different thing. But anyways, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I think we're.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're
good.
actually right there. We're pretty much sitting at about an hour, 59, 30, somewhere around there.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
pretty good.
did all right. I think we'll just go ahead and call it there, and maybe save whatever we want to talk about until next week.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right.
Well, it's been fun.
Until next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.